tapestry of birdsong, the brush of the breeze through the leaves. Somewhere, further away, she could hear the boys' shouts, the splashing water. She had slept for a while earlier and could feel drowsiness creeping over her again. We should think about getting back soon. A shadow blocked the sun, and for a moment she thought it was starting to rain. She opened her eyes. Paul was looming over her. Beyond him the sky was as clear as ever. "Get away," she said. "You're dripping all over me." "Sorry." He obligingly took a step backwards, still toweling his hair. "Glorious day, isn't it?" "Beautiful. How's the water?" "Freezing, but that's good. You should have come in." She touched her hair. "Do you know how much this cost? Need to look my best for tomorrow." "Not setting your cap at the boss, I hope." She laughed. "Hardly. I just want to make a good impression. It's a big opportunity." He finished drying his torso and threw himself onto the grass beside her. He lay on his back, still in his sewing trunks, and stared up at the cloudless sky. "Just so long as you remember us lesser mortals when you've made it to the top." She closed her eyes again, taking a last chance to relax. "I don't think that helping out the MD secretary counts as making it to the top." "You wait. It'll be the first step to greatness." He paused for a beat. "Unless the MD's married already, of course." Without looking, she grasped the damp towel he dropped between them and flung it onto his bare chest, still lying back. He caught it deftly, rolled it into a ball, and tucked it beneath his head. Very comfortable. I could grow to like this. So could we all, she thought. It was the fantasy she occasionally allowed herself, that this glorious summer really could go on forever. Sunshine, youth, innocent pleasure, no threats, nothing to disturb it. Peace. As if in mocking response to her thoughts, she could hear, away in the far distance, the monotonous hum of an aircraft. Paul had heard it too, and he sat up, his hand held above his eyes, squinting at the sky. "One of ours. Sounds out of formation. Wonder if he's in trouble." She followed his gaze, but there was nothing to be seen. Already the drone of the aeroplane was fading, little more than a half-heard echo, lost in the gentle sounds of the summer. But that was the reality. This was just a respite, a brief pause before the real business of life resumed again. Tomorrow and the days after that, everything would be different. Mary looked about her. She could see the sparkling water of the clay pits through the trees, hear the splash of the swimming boys, the rhythmic shouts of some game they were playing. Their bicycles lay scattered randomly across the grass. A few feet away there was a tartan blanket with the remains of the picnic they'd brought for lunch. She wondered what the next year, the next few months would bring. Some of the boys were old enough to be called up before too long. If the war lasted that long. Since the retreat from France, nobody seemed to know what would happen next. They'd heard about the German bombers on the wireless, though they'd only seen limited evidence locally, apart from the occasional dumping of bombs by returning aircraft. The boys loved to watch for the dogfights, the hurricanes and the Spitfires dancing in the pale air, but this far north those were still few and far between. Everyone spoke as if invasion was inevitable. They talked about what they would do when Jerry came, how they would resist, fight back. But that felt like a fantasy too. They prepared for the worst, but no one really believed it, even though they knew what had happened across Europe, and for all Mr. Churchill's rhetoric, it was difficult to imagine these green fields overrun by Nazi soldiers. It felt like some game they were playing. One way or another, though, they were growing up. She still thought of them as children, a bunch from the village who had gone through school together. But most had left school. The older ones, like her, had been working for a year or two. Some of the younger ones had just finished school this summer. With the war effort, there was no shortage of vacancies. One or two, like Paul, were hoping to stay on at school and had applied for scholarships, but the shadow of the war loomed over all of this. If the war continued, it would not be long, at least till some of them were liable for call-up. "When do you think we should be setting off back?" Paul was fumbling in his rucksack. "Soon, really. We want to get back well before dark." Paul was the sensible one, she thought, although not the eldest of the group.